Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to our first Unreal Engine tutorial. Actually, it's not our first. I've done a couple a long time ago, I guess, right? With destructible meshes. Anyway, this is going to be the first Unreal Engine long-standing tutorial series. I'm going to actually record a bunch of them and have a long series of them and answer questions and kind of mold the direction of the tutorial based on what people want to see and what they want to learn. So that's what's new with this series, and we can just get started. So right now I have the Epic launcher installed, the Epic Games launcher, and the first thing you have to do is resist the urge to play Fortnite or Unreal Tournament. And the community tab is where you can find the forums, the wiki, and the answer hub, which is really useful. You can find out answers to a ton of questions, or even ask your own and see if anyone can help you. And usually there's quite a few people who are very willing to help. The Learn tab has a bunch of tutorials and articles and quick start guides and manuals and stuff for various features in Unreal Engine, including some really cool project files that come with them. So this is a really cool thing to kind of look through, because you can pull stuff from this and learn a lot from it. For example, this blueprints one has a ton of blueprints you could use, and this particle effects one is obviously great for particle effects. So continuing on, if we go to Marketplace, we get access to the Marketplace, the asset store essentially for Unreal Engine. And there's just a ton of great content here, but the really important thing to note is the free section. In the free section, as you probably guessed, there's a ton of free stuff. And Epic Games has actually released all of the assets for Paragon, which is really useful because it's a AAA title, so they have materials, textures, and sounds and things that you wouldn't even recognize from the game, along with really recognizable items like the actual characters themselves and announcer voices and everything, and even environment materials and static meshes and everything. So there's just a ton of content here, like probably millions of dollars worth of content here that they've released for free. And if you go far back enough to go past the Paragon stuff, they have a history of doing this. They have Soul City, which is another great asset pack, and all of these asset packs you can use in your Unreal Engine games. As long as you use Unreal Engine and not another game engine, you'll be fine to use these. So definitely scroll through these and take a look at what's available, because they could be great starting points or additions to your current game. So we're going to go to Library, and you'll have your engine versions and your projects. So if you just installed the Epic Games Launcher, you'll have to hit the plus sign here and choose a version to install, and then hit install. That'll take a while. Once that's done, you'll have an icon like this where you can launch it. So we'll hit launch. Alright, so now you're put into the Unreal Project browser. So we can either open one of our current projects or click on New Project up here. And this is where you're given a choice between Blueprints or C++. I'm currently learning Blueprints because I've learned a lot of different programming language. I've used C++ before, but I think Blueprints are very interesting and will help me teaching in my classes, since I teach at a high school. So I'm learning Blueprints right now, so you guys are going to learn along with me. So we're going to choose a let's go ahead and go to a first person template. Okay, and we're going to choose desktop or console. We'll choose scalable 3D or 2D, and we'll leave it with no starter content. Should we? Yeah, we'll keep the starter content. Alright, we'll call this YouTube Unreal. And project names can't contain spaces, so no spaces there. And then you're going to create the project. Alright, so we're put into this first-person game mode. Right in the center we have our game window and editor window where we can look around and also play our game. On the left side we have our modes, which has a bunch of different features, right? We have our placement mode, which we can drag in items like cubes and other 3D objects. We have lights that we can drag in and actually illuminate our scene and see it live in real time, minus some advanced baking effects that take some building a little bit later. We have cinematic effects like cameras. We have visual effects like atmospheric fog. We could just drag that in here and get some atmospheric fog. We have geometry, like curved stairs and linear stairs, for example. Volumes, which we'll get into later, and this is basically if you walk into an area, a big square, that's called a volume. And then you can see all classes here. Up here you also have your paint mode, where you can paint different textures. You have your landscape editor, where you can adjust and sculpt your landscape. We have our foliage placement editor and our geometry editor, which just got a huge update in the latest version. Down here we have our content browser with all of the content that we import into our game. On the right side we have our in-game assets, so this is everything that's already in our game. If we click on something, it'll highlight it in the game and show us where it's at. And then when we do click on something, we have our details tab, which is like our inspector tab, and we can go through here and just look at all the information. It looks like a ton of information, but it's really just like transform is the location, and rotation, like where it is in your game, how big it is in your game. The mesh is basically the object. So when you import it from Maya or whatever you're making your 3D models in, you're given a static mesh and you put that in the game. The material is what is coating your mesh, so what color it is it shiny, etc. And then we have physics and collision and lighting and all these other great adjustable features that we can just use in our game. So what I want to do is I want to create a kind of landscape, so it looks like there's some mountains in front of this beautiful sky that we have. That way when we're in the game, we're looking back and we can actually see some mountains. So the first thing we're going to do, and actually I'm going to pause it here and then we'll start the mountains in tutorial 2. So thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for the next video. I'll be recording it now and uploading it shortly, and have a good day. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching this tutorial. Be sure to support me on Patreon, and you'll get your name in every video produced while you're a supporter, and you'll also get access to project files for all of our game projects, including Game Salad, Game Maker Studio 2, Unity, and Unreal Engine. They're not quite all up there yet, but I am uploading them, and I am organizing all that now for you. So be sure to jump over to Patreon and support me, and thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of the series. Peace.